You sing to them at 2 a.m. when no one is watching. You kiss their forehead before you leave the room, even though they are already asleep. You check the monitor one more time, just to be sure. You are doing everything right. At least, that is what you think. But what if your baby is quietly storing memories? Not of the big moments, but of the small, invisible ones. The ones you barely notice yourself. A 2019 study published in the journal Current Biology found that infants as young as 6 months form implicit emotional memories that shape how their nervous system responds to the world, long before they can speak a single word. Their brains are recording, and they remember far more than you realize. So today, we are going through 10 things your baby secretly remembers about you, and most parents have no idea these moments are even sticking. Stay until number 3, because that one is the thing almost every parent does in their weakest moments, and almost no one talks about what it leaves behind.
10. The sound of your voice when you are calm. Think about the moments you narrate your day to your baby. You are folding laundry, and you say quietly, "Here comes the warm sock. This one is yours." You are driving, and you hum something without thinking. These moments feel meaningless to you. To your baby, they are anything but. Dr. Patricia Kuhl at the University of Washington found that babies are what she called citizens of the world in their first months. Their brains are running at a remarkable frequency, mapping the acoustic patterns of the voices closest to them. But it goes deeper than language. A calm, steady voice does not just teach your baby words. It teaches their nervous system what safe feels like. Their brain reads a regulated voice as a signal. The world is okay right now. I can relax. What your baby is storing is not the words. They are storing the feeling of your voice when nothing was wrong. That emotional imprint becomes a baseline, a reference point their body returns to when stress hits later in life. The fix is simpler than you think. You do not need to perform. You do not need to use a special baby voice. Just talk. Talk while you cook, while you drive, while you do absolutely nothing interesting. Your calm is the lesson. 9. The moment you walked back in. Every parent leaves the room. You put them down, you step away, you have things to do. That departure registers. But here is what most parents do not know. What their baby's brain is actually cataloging is not the leaving. It is the returning. Dr. Mary Ainsworth, whose foundational research at Johns Hopkins became the bedrock of modern attachment theory, discovered that what separates securely attached babies from anxiously attached ones is not whether the caregiver leaves. It is whether the caregiver consistently comes back, and how they come back. Warm, present, unhurried. To your baby, your return is not just physical. Their brain reads it as confirmation of a belief they are trying to form about the world. When I need someone, someone comes. Every reliable return strengthens that neural pathway. Every warm reunion, even after a 5-minute absence, deposits something into what researchers call the baby's internal working model, the unconscious blueprint they will carry into every relationship they ever have. So when you walk back in, try to arrive fully. Put the phone down before you enter the room. Let your face be the first thing they see, not the back of your head. That moment of reconnection is being remembered.
8. The face you made when they showed you something. Your baby holds up a chewed-on toy. They babble at a shadow on the wall. They grab your finger and pull it towards something only they find fascinating. And in that split second, your face does something, and they are watching it with extraordinary precision. Dr. Joseph Campos at UC Berkeley spent decades studying what researchers call social referencing, the way babies look to a caregiver's face to decide how to feel about something new. His research found that babies as young as 8 months will change their physical behavior based entirely on the emotional expression they see on their parent's face. Show fear, they freeze. Show delight, they reach forward.
But the memory being formed is not just about that toy or that shadow. What your baby is encoding is something more personal. When I bring something to this person, what happens to their face? Over hundreds of these micro moments, they are building a belief about whether their inner world is worth sharing, whether their excitement will be met or dismissed. You do not have to perform enthusiasm you do not feel, but try, just once today, to pause when your baby presents you with something, anything, and let your face actually respond. Look curious, look interested. That reflection is one of the most powerful things you can give them. 7. The way you handled it when you were falling apart. Not your best days, your worst ones. The afternoon you sat on the kitchen floor because it was all too much. The morning you cried in the shower and then came out and made breakfast anyway. The moment you lost your patience and then found your way back. Here is what the research tells us, and this may genuinely change how you see those hard moments. Dr. Ed Tronick at the University of Massachusetts, Boston, whose still face experiment became one of the most replicated studies in developmental psychology, found something that surprised even him. It was not the moments of perfect attunement that built the most resilient babies. It was the repair, the rupture and the recovery, the breaking and the coming back together.
To your baby, watching you struggle and then continue is not a wound. Their nervous system is reading something profound. This person gets overwhelmed and they keep going. This person is not perfect and they are still here. That is not trauma. That is modeling. What gets remembered is not that you fell apart. What gets remembered is that you came back. So the next time you feel like your worst moment is all your baby will carry, remember that repair is the lesson. Come back to them after the hard moment. Hold them. Let your face soften. That return is what their brain will store. Stay with us until number 3, because that is the one that happens in the most ordinary moment of your day, and it leaves a mark almost no parent sees coming.
6. The times you looked at them instead of the screen. This one is uncomfortable, and it is meant to be. Not to shame you, but because the data is stark, and you deserve to know it. Dr. Jenny Radesky, a developmental behavioral pediatrician at the University of Michigan, studied caregiver-infant interactions in everyday settings and found that when a parent was absorbed in a mobile device, babies made more bids for attention, showed more frustrated vocalizations, and eventually, after repeated non-responses, began to withdraw. They stopped trying. That withdrawal is the part worth sitting with. Your baby is not indifferent to your distraction. They notice it the way they notice everything, fully, without the buffer of adult rationalization. Their brain does not register, Mom is answering an important email. It registers, I reached for connection and nothing came back. Repeated enough times, that experience does not just create a bad moment. It begins to shape a belief. My signals don't matter. What gets remembered is not the phone itself. It is the ratio. The number of times they looked up and found your eyes versus the number of times they looked up and found the back of a screen. That ratio is quietly building their sense of whether they are worth being seen. The fix is not perfection. It is never perfection. It is one deliberate window each day where the phone is in another room and your eyes are available. Even 20 minutes of full presence recalibrates the ratio.
5. The sound of your goodbye. Most parents dread separation. They rush through it, keep it short, avoid prolonged eye contact, because they know if they linger, they will cry, and then the baby will cry, and nobody will leave. So they make it quick. A fast kiss, a cheerful wave, a bright bye-bye, delivered over the shoulder on the way out the door. That strategy makes complete sense for the parent. For the baby's nervous system, it creates something researchers call an incomplete stress cycle. A 2017 study from the University of Amsterdam found that the abruptness of a caregiver's departure, not the departure itself, was one of the stronger predictors of cortisol elevation in infants during separation. When goodbyes happen too fast for the baby to process, their stress hormones rose higher and took longer to return to baseline than when they were given even a brief, calm transition ritual. To your baby, a rushed goodbye does not feel kind. It feels like a door closing before they could find their footing. Their brain is trying to prepare, to regulate, and the speed of the exit leaves them with activation and no anchor. The fix is a ritual, not a performance. It does not have to be long. It has to be consistent. The same words, the same gesture, the same warm face each time. Even 30 seconds of that builds a bridge their nervous system can hold on to after you walk out. They will remember the bridge more than the leaving.
4. The moment you put your phone down and just watched them play. You were not teaching. You were not narrating or stimulating or doing anything the parenting books told you to do. You were just sitting there, watching them turn a plastic cup upside down and right side up again for the 14th time. Maybe you were tired. Maybe it was the only quiet moment in your day. But you stayed and you watched. That moment is being stored. Dr. Suzanne Zedick, a developmental psychologist at the University of Dundee, has written extensively about what she calls the companionship model of early development. The idea that babies do not just need interaction, they need to feel accompanied, witnessed. There is a measurable difference, she argues, between a baby who plays while a caregiver is physically present but mentally elsewhere, and a baby who plays while a caregiver is simply, quietly, fully there. To your baby, your unhurried presence beside them during play communicates something their nervous system cannot get from stimulation alone. I am interesting enough to be watched. My actions are worth someone's attention. That belief, quiet, pre-verbal, laid down in the first year of life, becomes the early architecture of self-worth. You do not need to fill the silence. You do not need to make it educational. The next time you find yourself sitting near your baby while they explore something ordinary, try resisting the urge to redirect or instruct. Just watch them with genuine curiosity. Let your face show that what they are doing matters. That witnessing is one of the most profound gifts you can offer, and it costs nothing but your attention. 3. The times you were emotionally present but said nothing at all. This is the one almost every parent does without knowing it, and almost no one talks about what it quietly teaches. Your baby is upset. They are crying and you do not know why. You have checked everything, fed them, changed them, held them, and you are sitting with them now, a little helpless, maybe a little frustrated, trying to stay calm. And in that moment, many parents do one of two things. They fill the space with sound. It's okay. It's okay. You're fine. You're fine. Words delivered quickly, almost reflexively, in a tone that is trying to fast forward past the feeling. Or they go quiet in a different way. They pull back slightly,
overwhelmed by their own discomfort with the baby's distress. Dr. Daniel Siegel at UCLA, whose work on interpersonal neurobiology has reshaped how we understand emotional development, describes what he calls name it to tame it, the idea that labeling an emotional experience helps regulate the nervous system. But underneath that framework is a more foundational concept. Before a baby can be helped to regulate, they first need to feel that their emotional state has been acknowledged. Not fixed, acknowledged.
To your baby, the difference between "it's okay, stop crying" and "I can see you're really upset right now, I'm right here," is not just semantic. Their nervous system reads those two responses differently. The first signals, your feeling is a problem to be solved. The second signals, your feeling is real and you are not alone in it. Repeated across hundreds of moments, those two signals build entirely different emotional architectures. One teaches a child to suppress, the other teaches them to feel and recover. What gets remembered is not whether you had the right words. What gets remembered is whether your presence said, "I can hold this with you." You do not have to fix the feeling. You have to stay inside it with them long enough for their nervous system to find its way back to calm. That staying, quiet, warm, unrushed, is one of the most powerful things a parent can do.
And most parents are so uncomfortable with their baby's distress that they skip it entirely without ever knowing they did. The fix is one breath before you speak. Let yourself feel the discomfort of not fixing it immediately. Then instead of "you're fine," try "I'm here." Just those two words, said slowly, said like you mean them. Their nervous system will hear the difference, even if their mind cannot yet understand it.
2. The way your body felt when you held them. Not what you said, not what you did. The actual physical quality of your body when your baby was in your arms, whether you were soft or rigid, whether your breathing was slow or shallow, whether you were present in your body or somewhere else entirely. Babies do not experience the world through language. They experience it through the body. And the body they are pressed against most often in the earliest months of life is yours. Dr. Nim Tottenham at Columbia University has spent years studying how early caregiving environments shape the developing amygdala, the brain's threat detection center. Her research found that the physical presence of a regulated caregiver, one whose own nervous system is calm, directly suppresses cortisol production in infants during stressful situations. The baby's brain is not just responding to your warmth, it is co-regulating with your entire physiological state, your heartbeat, your breath rate, the tension or softness in your muscles. To your baby, being held by a body that is tense and elsewhere is a fundamentally different experience from being held by a body that is slow and present. They can't name the difference, their nervous system measures it anyway. What is being encoded in those early holding moments is a felt sense of what it means to be comforted, a template they will carry into adulthood for what safety in another person's presence actually feels like. This does not mean you must be perfectly calm every time you pick them up. That is not possible, and it is not the standard. It means that when you notice your body is braced, shoulders up, jaw tight, breathing held, you can try, even once, to take one slow exhale before you lift them. Let your body arrive before your arms do.
That 1 second of softening is felt. It is remembered. And over time, it becomes part of their understanding of what it means to be held by someone who loves them. 1. The feeling of being loved before they could understand what love was. This is the one that sits underneath everything else on this list. It is not a single moment. It is not one behavior you can correct or one habit you can add to your morning routine. It is the cumulative emotional atmosphere your baby has been living inside since the day they were born. And it is the thing they will carry longest, deepest, and most silently into the rest of their life. before your baby had words, before they had object permanence or self-awareness, or any of the cognitive scaffolding we associate with memory, they had feeling. And the feeling that surrounded them in those first months and years was being absorbed the way a sponge absorbs water, completely, indiscriminately, without filter or defense. Dr. Bruce Perry at the Child Trauma Institute has described the earliest years of life as a period of use-dependent brain development, meaning the neural pathways that get used most are the ones that get built strongest. A baby who is consistently held, responded to, spoken to softly, made to feel that their presence is a joy rather than a burden. That baby's brain is literally being constructed around the experience of being wanted. Those pathways do not disappear. They become the foundation. To your baby, love in these early years is not an abstract concept. It is a physical, neurological, lived experience. It is the speed at which you came when they cried. It is the warmth in your voice when you had every reason to be exhausted. It is the way you looked at them sometimes, for no reason, in the middle of an ordinary moment, like they were the most remarkable thing you had ever seen. Their brain does not store that as a memory they can retrieve and narrate. It stores it as a felt sense of self, a belief written in the body before language existed that says, I am someone worth loving.
The world is a place where I belong. That belief will follow them into their first friendship, their first heartbreak, their first moment of self-doubt as an adult in a hard year. It will be there when they do not even know to look for it. And it came from you, from the ordinary, invisible, unremarkable moments you barely registered as they were happening. You gave them that. Every time you showed up tired and showed up anyway. Every time you chose them in a moment when it would have been easier not to. Every imperfect, loving, fumbling attempt you made to be what they needed, it landed. It was received. It is in there, quietly shaping who they are becoming.
None of this makes you a bad parent. Every single one of these things is fixable the moment you become aware of it. And awareness is exactly what you just chose by being here. Babies do not need perfect parents. The research is clear and consistent on this. What they need are good enough parents. Parents who miss the mark sometimes and repair it.
Parents who lose the thread and find their way back. Dr. Ed Tronick's decades of research showed us that it is not the moments of perfect attunement that build secure, resilient children. It is the rupture and the repair, the falling short and the returning. That return, that moment when you come back, soften, reconnect, is where the real bonding lives. It is where trust is actually built, not in the seamless moments, but in the recovery from the broken ones. You are not trying to be a perfect parent. You are trying to be a present one. And presence, even imperfect, even tired, even uncertain, is everything to a baby who is just learning what the world is made of. If this video made you think about even one moment differently, one goodbye, one held gaze, one exhale before you pick them up, share it with another parent who needs to hear it. The parents who are trying hardest are often the ones who never get told that what they are already doing is enough. And if you want to understand more about what is actually happening inside your baby's mind, the science behind how they think, feel, attach, and grow, subscribe, because we go deep on baby psychology every single week. See you in the next one.